Quick, move yourself to the bottom right. Yeah, you did it! All right. Oh, we still have a dog on the screen.
Oh, dog.
All right.
Come here.
Nope, he's just gonna go right there. That
There
seems
you
like a
go.
good spot for him.
Perfect.
Little puppy on my head. Little puppy on my head. All right. Well, you gave me a list of birds that you thought
I
might be
did.
good birds of the day. So one was the pileated woodpecker, old woody woodpecker.
Mm-hmm.
We've done that before. Wild
Yep.
turkey. Oh, come on. My very first Thanksgiving that I was a streamer. Of course, I did the turkey then. And then the woodcock. Well, swiggity swooty, got to get that booty. You know, we love the woodcock, but already did them. In fact, I think all of those might have been year one bird of the days. I mean, great ones. But the last one you picked
OG birds of the day.
the last one you picked ended up being far more interesting than I thought, and that bird is the black vulture.
Woohoo!
Look at that handsome fellow. That is a goth bird right there.
They're very goth. I have
So
several
goth.
that live by my house, and they come down in a little troop, and they're the most goth birds ever, and I love them so much.
Yeah, they're pretty cool looking. I mean, love those black feathers. They got that those wrinkly little heads of theirs. Love their
Yes.
wrinkly little bald heads and good powerful beaks. But let's learn a little bit about them. Well, they are 22 to 29 inches long, with a pretty big wingspan, 52 to 66. Of course, vultures known for being soaring birds, so of course they're going to have big old wings. Vultures have real big wings.
Yeah.
They weigh about 2.6 to 4.3 pounds, and is as typical for birds of prey of this size. The females are actually between 10 to 15% bigger than the males,
Oh.
which is interesting. And their average lifespan is 5 to 10 years. Though in captivity, they regularly live over 20. And the
Wow.
oldest that was ever recorded was actually a wild one that was 26 years and 5 months old when she died.
Wow.
So-
That's very old.
So yeah, they have a capacity for a pretty good lifespan. Although that is significantly shorter than other vultures. Condors and turkey vultures tend to live 30 plus years. They're much
Oh.
longer lived. But what's the interesting thing is the turkey vulture, the California condor, the Andean condor, the bearded vulture. Those are all aciptriforms. That is the same order that has hawks and eagles in it. But the black vulture is a cathartiform. They're actually not technically a vulture. They are in a
fake vulture.
completely different taxonomical order than all other vultures. And in fact, the order Cathartiforms only has a few species. It's a very small order. So these guys kind of are by themselves and not actually closely, but it's kind of one of those instances of evolution reaching the same endpoint in two different paths, which is kind of
Right.
cool. Crabs have done that like 6 times.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, eventually all vultures will evolve into crabs. You know,
Yeah.
all
We're
things
all
will
gonna
someday
be crabs.
We'll all be crabs. As you can see, their range, though, is they are in the Americas, going, all the way up into the United States, down through most of the Caribbean and Central America, and then also in most of South America, only not in those southern parts of Chile and Argentina. So pretty broad range. The interesting thing about that broad range is that they do not migrate. And the variance in size, like 2.6 to 4.3 pounds, that's a pretty big variance. And depending on where they live will affect how big they are. There's divergent populations that, almost think of it as slightly different breeds of dog almost.
Right.
But like not quite as much variance as that, but still technically the same species. So interesting. Yeah, because there's a couple subspecies of these guys.
Okay.
They're considered subspecies because they could mate with each other and have fertile offspring.
Right.
But I mean, that's the thing with species. It's like order, pretty clear lines. Family, pretty clear lines. Genus, kind of blurry lines. Species, it's a blur. There's really no good, solid definition of species that works across all animal populations. It's tricky stuff. But so these fellas, usually when they're about 2 or 3 years old, that's when they're going to start be doing the mating stuff. The males are going to do a little dance on the ground where they kind of like circle the female. They get their wings all spread out. They do just this cute little dance. And if the female's like, hey, I like what you're doing, she'll start dancing back. And then they kind of do a little dance together. And then they start mating. And they do mate for long periods of time. It's very, very rare that a couple will only mate for one season, and they often mate for life, but not always. Not always.
Oh.
So they may mate for, 3 to 5 seasons, and maybe she's just like, I don't think you're helping contribute raise the kids as much. I'm breaking up with you.
They're open to divorce.
Yeah, they're open to divorce. Well, if they even get married in the first place, I don't know. I guess if they dance together, that's bird marriage.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the same as putting a ring on it. Now, interesting thing is they don't nest up in trees. They nest on the ground. They dig a little hole in the ground and just put the eggs right in there. Now, here's the weird thing. They gather material for the nest, but they don't put it in the nest. They don't get like small soft spots. They just let the egg sit right there in the mud hole that they dug. But they'll use like feathers of other birds or sticks and stuff, and they'll like put it around the nest, but not in the nest, and like decorate it. Now, like, that's interesting. And they often like to find things that are shiny. So like if they'll like take man-made objects like glass bottles sometimes or plastic and make like little colorful stuff. It's like they do some little decorating.
I love that.
Little decorating.
I love
it's very
that.
cute. Almost every clutch that they lay is going to have 2 eggs. Occasionally you'll have 1 or 3, but the overwhelming majority is 2 eggs per clutch. And once they're laid, the parents are going to take turns incubating. And once the babies are born, they're going to take turns feeding the baby chicks. So, yep, we got nice, good present dads. I always like to see that in the bird world.
We love that.
And then about 75 to 80 days is when the baby birds are finally able to fly on their own and go live their life. But they're not going to abandon their parents. They usually stick around till 1 or 2 years old until they're ready to start mating. They'll stick around. But that's nice.
Yeah.
But one thing that makes them a vulture is they are scavengers. So it's kind of weird that vultures often get lumped as birds of prey. But you think about it, they're technically not, because they don't hunt. They eat things that are already dead. So they're not really birds of prey. They're just birds of opportunity.
In the case of the ones by my cottage, they eat the cat food that the lady next door puts out for the feral cats.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Cat food is actually really nutritious for birds that can eat meat.
Yeah.
Like, the healthiest thing to feed a crow is cat food.
It's
got all the nutrients we need right in there. It's good for us. The only problem is putting out cat food. If you're in a place that gets rain, wet cat food is not good.
No.
Unless it's like, canned wet cat food. That's different.
Yeah.
But yeah, they have some interesting adaptations. Their beaks are very sharp and very tough. Good for ripping through hides and stuff like that. Although the black vulture's beak is not nearly as tough as that of, say, like a condor, and a little bit less so than a turkey vulture. But their other adaptation is the bald head. Why do vultures have bald heads? Because they're sticking it inside a dead corpse. And those little gross bits that are inside a corpse stick far more easily to feathers than to bald skin. So that's actually all about hygiene and keeping themselves clean. And these guys are actually very hygienic birds. They're very good at keeping themselves clean. They regularly take baths and dust baths and clean each other off. They're very hygienic birds. For birds that like to eat dead things, they when they're done eating, they will clean themselves off because they understand that disease happens. Now, these guys are also not as good at flying, or in particular soaring, as other vultures. So like a turkey vulture might be able to just spread those wings out and circle for hours without flying. These guys have to do a bit more wing flapping than bigger vultures do, because their wingspan's just a little bit smaller, and they don't quite have the adaptation for it. But they're still able to stay aloft for long periods of time because that's how they hunt. They hunt by soaring up, and they use their eyesight. these vultures have incredibly good eyesight, like amazingly good, like, you know, puts human sight to shame. They can see nice, good details from a very long distance away, and so they'll spot a animal lying on the ground, not moving, and they're like, "Oh, dinner." But
Perfect.
they have one other strategy for finding dead animals, and that strategy is a turkey vulture. If they see
Oh.
turkey vultures descending on a place, black vultures will follow them and see if they can steal it. Now, here's the thing. A turkey vulture is bigger than a black vulture, stronger than a black vulture, a little more vicious than a black vulture. One-on-one, the turkey vulture is going to win every time. But here's the advantage that the black vulture has over the turkey vulture. Numbers. Sure, one turkey vulture is going to chase away a single black vulture, but 4 black vultures are going to chase away a single turkey vulture, and they're going to get that delicious, delicious dead animal, whatever it might be. And so,
They bring friends. They go with their buddy.
Yeah. So they live in family groups, usually between 5 to 20. Around a dozen is a pretty average size for a group of turkey vultures.
Mm.
Now, here's an interesting thing. They don't have a voice box. None at all. They cannot call, caw, squawk, sing, do any of those things. However, they have been known to make little grunting sounds. They can make like little honks and grunts and stuff, but it's not coming from a vocal thing. It's just kind of like quickly releasing air from their lungs and, just kind of like grunt at each other. Ow! No honks either, Hasio. Thanks. So, yeah, I think it's just kind of interesting. I like how they're very much a vulture, but also not a vulture. I was very fascinated to learn about these guys. They're very interesting. And, one thing that is great is that they are a species of least concern, meaning that their populations are either stable or growing. So they are not really threatened, and in fact, they seem to be thriving. They're adapting well to the changing climate, which is good.
They're doing great.
I suppose when other species die, they benefit.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Now, I happen to have a little video. I was hanging outside taking a bath, and a black vulture approached me. So let's go ahead and watch this video. See, there I am, sitting on the bird bath, and yeah, as you can see, a black vulture decided to come up and hang out with me. Yeah, there I am, just sipping some tasty water, looking over at that guy. What's
You
he
were
doing?
drinking the bath water?
Look, it's tasty, okay? It has a nice, rich patina to it that people may not understand. As you can see, it was a very hot day too, 119 degrees Fahrenheit. So
true.
hot, so hot this day. But yeah, I didn't like the look of this turkey vulture, so I had to hop off. Look at him, majestic, beautiful.
He's thinking about it.
Oh, there's my friend. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, look at him.
Look at him go. Oh, he's drinking it too.
Yeah, he's having a drink. But yeah, look at him when he sways his wings out. Just how big he is. Yeah, look at that wingspan. Just beautiful long feathers. Just absolutely gorgeous. Yeah. Yeah. Even the big birds got to get themselves a little drink.
Yeah.
Although
everybody's got to stay hydrated,
Oddly enough, there are some birds that never drink water because they get all the water they need from the food they eat.
Yeah.
Like a lot of parrots do that just by eating berries.
Yeah, that makes sense. They're like cats that way. Cats don't tend to drink as much.
Yep. Yeah. This turkey vulture scaring us away.
Yeah.
I of course had to share this video because it's got some. Was it at least Gamer Hero bathwater? Bentai? No.
We don't think so. Hopefully not.
All right. Well, my final thoughts is, I thought these birds were incredibly interesting. I love that they mate for life. I love that they're not technically vultures. Kind of like the Australian magpie is not technically a magpie. It's kind of a similar situation to that. But, they're intelligent, family-oriented, and, scavengers doing an important job.
Yeah.
cleaning up dead things is they stop the spread of disease throughout the rest of the animal world. Scavengers and vultures and stuff are extremely important to the world, and they get. I think vultures are one of the birds that probably like maybe most underrated bird. They have a bad rap for how
They
good and important they are.
they do, yeah. Bad press, bad PR.
Bad PR. And I mean, part of it's kind of how they look. I mean, nobody likes a bald head. Everyone wants a nice, lush head full of feathers. But hey, you know what? I think they rock to look good. I mean, they're like the Patrick Stewart of birds. You know,
Yeah.
they work with it. They work with it. And you know, they got kind of that goth look to them. You know, we love
They
goth
do.
looks around here. You know, I'm
They
a
do.
pro. I'm a goth bird. We like it. So yeah, you got any final thoughts on them?
No, I just love them. They're pretty fun. They're very big. They're much bigger than you think. Like in real
Oh,
life,
yeah.
you see one, you're like, oh my goodness, that bird's big. But they're very chill.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, condors are, like, the biggest birds native to America. And you see a condor up close, and you're like, holy crap, that thing's big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to see a harpy eagle close up last year, and those guys are
Ooh.
massive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been up close and personal to an Andean condor as well, and it's just like, oh, you are big boy.
Yes.
Yes. But yeah, they're nice
Big
birds.
birds.
And look, they take care of each other, as seen in this
Yeah.
picture here. This is probably a mated couple right now, preening each other, taking care of each other. We like it. Good birds.
Yeah.
Good birds.
Good
Got nothing but
birds.
positive things to say about them. Good birds.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call this bird of the day done, and we're going to get
Woohoo!
ourselves back to the studio.